What is happening, everybody? trueeevil here, and today we're going to be breaking down how to build Doki Doki for both PvE and PvP. This guide will be a little bit different from my other character guides because I will be showing demonstrations of gameplay with each of these builds to really showcase how universally strong Doki Doki is. She can be used in every single one of the threshold bosses. During some of the show bosses, she can be used, but in the ones where you just want to blitz, not as great. She is really strong for those longer fights, and that is because of her passive stacks. So without further ado, let's just explain why her kit is pretty broken. So the reason why Doki Doki is so powerful is because of her skill 3, which is the best skill to completely max out of Doki's kit, and that is because of the skill cooldown as well as just all the extra benefits of making this skill much powerful. And this is because this is going to give you 5 stacks of backup on yourself, which is the best part of Doki Doki in my opinion. This is what makes her stand out. And what backup does is when before any of your characters have their turn, if they have a debuff, either it be like a stun or like attack down or speed down, they are cleansed. Now it says 2 debuffs are purified, but if you have that skill 1 maxed out, it's going to be 3, which in PvP is really strong because say if your entire team gets stunned or sleeped, then you can push your entire team up with the skill 3, and then when they start their turns, they recover from the stun or the sleep, and they are actually able to have their turn, which is really powerful. Usually what gets you in CC situations is that you just have to pass your turn instantly, so being able to negate that is huge. Not only that, but you get a stack of data stream every time that you use backup, and this just gives you a nice damage dealt increase and speed. Now the damage dealt is a percentage and the speed is a base amount, so that is something to consider. Now I have it fully maxed out, so we can have 12 stacks at 2.5. That will make it so you have a 30% total damage increase and an extra 30 speed, which in the later runs when you're in those fights that take like 10 to 15 minutes, this is extremely substantial. And there are just a lot of ways to get backup as well as apply data stream, like the skill 2, which after you max out the skill 3, you're going to want to work on the skill 2. Now, I got it to level 4 because this skill actually just makes the skill 3 much better because it makes it so you can have more data stream stacks, which they start out at 8 and then you upgrade it to 10, and at level 4 you max that out at 12. And the level 3 makes it go up from a 2% and 2 flat to a 2.5, which is a really strong upgrade because at the beginning when you have those 8 stacks, it can only go up to 16, then it goes up to 20, then we have 25, and then max out at 30. And the 30 is when she starts being extremely powerful. Now, the final upgrade of the skill 2 is pretty strong, but just because of how rare lattices are, I am foregoing that because I really need to focus on building a blue DPS for Ethernet Rally, so unfortunately I cannot max out my Doki even though I really want to. And then the skill 1, what I have here right now is just to guarantee getting a backup stack. And there's a couple of reasons why you would want to upgrade the skill 1. The level 5 makes it so the backup purifies 3 debuffs instead of 2, which, you know, if you're just getting absolutely destroyed by a lot of debuffs, say like Sharon in Inferno, this is going to be able to purify more dots, therefore make it so you don't die as quickly. And you just generally get the speed from the skill 1 tree, and then with the normal attack, I believe it's a 75% chance without the level 3. And then at the level 3, you just get an extra stack of backup whenever you use your skill 1. So very, very useful in making sure she has the stacks. Because in some of these fights, what makes it so it's difficult is, well, she just runs out of backup stacks. Because you can only have 5 initially. And, you know, weapons, if every single character needs a backup every single turn, of course you're going to run out. So being able to guarantee those extra little bits of stacks is super important. Now, after we've explained the kit, let's just go into how she works in PvP. Now, for PvP, her shell is going to be different than what you're going to utilize in PvE, and that is because you want Codex of Magic. This is for a couple of reasons. One, the most important stat to build on Doki is going to be Swift Rush, and also because the fight isn't going to be as long as, say, like a Inferno Aurora run, you don't necessarily need Time Weave. And because of that, we're going to opt for Bulwark, because Doki is going to be used as our character that sets up the team, just because if we get CC'd or pushback, Doki can skill 3, push everyone up, and then they'll be cleansed with the backup stacks. So not only that, we just want to make sure she sets it up and doesn't get bamboozled with the rest of them. And the Codex is really powerful because not only does it give you that extra speed, but it makes it so you have that skill 3 up and ready for the next turn. Now this is important because her skill 2, although is really strong, having the option of doing a skill 3 again versus doing a skill 2 is actually something that comes up a lot, and sometimes you are just going to want to go skill 3 to skill 2, but half the other times it's just better to go skill 3 into skill 3 in PvP. So having that option is really important. And for the passive effects, I think just having HP percent, speed, and then I really like defensive stance just because her skill 3 and skill 2 doesn't do damage. It just makes it so Doki is more tanky. I really like having a tanky Doki because if she's just too squishy, she's just going to get bamboozled. And we're not trying to live that lifestyle. We're trying to have the thickest Doki in the entire world. So this is how I like to set her up in PvP. So let's see how she works in the actual battleground. Let's get there. So one thing you're really going to want to do when you're using DokiDoki is you're going to want to make sure that you pick her third, because a lot of the time you use her in PvP, she is going to be for bruiser teams and is going to be the only speedster type unit in your party, so you're going to want to really utilize her ability. And then for the other slots, we are going to go with I think Viper is going to work really well against their team comp, and the character we're going to abandon here is going to be, I'm going to say we're going to ban Mio, because I think Mio is very scary. So they banned our Viper, which was probably the best choice. Now let's see how everything goes. As you can see, we got pushed back from the Marvel, but because of the bulwark on the Doki, we aren't really going to worry about anything except our Holden is just going to be a little sad. Now everyone's been sort of pushed back, or mainly just the Holden, but let's see what happens now. We've gotten everyone pushed up, we do more damage. Let's make sure we absolutely bring the noise on their DPS. The DPS is what can kill us, so we want to make sure that we are nice and ready for it. Getting that immunity ready, and then we're going to lay the noise on their Yelly, just so they can't really do anything. And at this point, we have pretty much double immunity. There's no real way for them to do anything about it. And because we have that Codex of Magic, DokiDoki is going to push our team up all up again, and we are going to absolutely destroy this Yelly. There is no shot this Yelly is going to do the scary revelation and absolutely wreck our team. I say that though, but you know, it is what it is sometimes. I can't imagine the Freya pushes the Yelly above, but it can happen. So here we have the Codex back. We can do the skill 3, and we're going to have our entire team up. And this is going to be really important because Yeli has that defense up, and we're just going to let Holden be an absolute monster and destroy the entire team here. And because of this, we are going to be getting that Dubskis really good. That's how you do it with the Doki. Doki absolutely took control of that match, and that is why I think she's such a great unit for PvP. And I hope you agree with me as well. So let's move on to PvE builds now. Now, for PvE, there are two shells I would recommend for Doki. Now, the Codex can be used in PvE, and that's totally fine. I used Codex for my initial Inferno runs just because, well, there's not a whole lot of resources, and I just needed to invest. But later on, I like to get the Artisan with the 12 Time Weave and 12 Swift Rush, and when I upgraded to the final matrices, which I haven't gotten the shell yet for Doki on any of them, so unfortunately what she is using is just one day I'll have it, right? So what I do here is I do 12 Swift Rush, 12 Time Weave with the Artisan, because this is going to make her super tanky, and she's just going to get more cooldown reduction with the Time Weave, which means her skill 2 is going to make everyone get a lot more skill cooldown. So it's just really helping her do a lot of her skills all at once, and making those awkward 2 turns where she just uses skill 1 pretty obsolete. Really, really strong to use Time Weave and Swift Rush on her. And then when you upgrade to the later things, to use 12 Time Weave, 8 Swift Rush, and then do the Swift Raid. Now, you can't do this for her last shell, which is going to be Gigabyte. For the Gigabyte, you can do the same thing with the Swift Rush Time Weave, but you aren't going to really have a pick here that is going to work with her. And what I chose to do if I am running Gigabyte is, although we're not getting as much speed, what I do is 12 Time Weave, 8 Swift Rush, and Ether Plague. And I'm only running Ether Plague for that extra HP to make her really, really shine in terms of being a tank. So let's see how it works in PvE. Now, I'm not going to show the entire fight, but I am going to show a little bit of a tidbit. Now, as you can see, because the Holden was faster than my Doki, because I do have slightly slower Time Weave pieces, he did get stunned. But the trade-off of that is now Doki is going to be able to have some sort of shield effect, which is really strong for her because she has such a wide utility kit, but she doesn't have a shield or a heal, and that is why I really like Artisan on her. And now at this point, it doesn't really matter that anyone gets stunned because they are going to get the backups from her. And it doesn't matter if she is stunned. She is just going to be purifying like crazy. And let's just see how quickly we're able to get to the next skill based off the Time Weave versus the other one. And see, that's a really strong thing, is that she can purify herself. And as you can see, we hit both of the Time Weave hits at the beginning. So even though we're not running Codex, we're able to go skill 3 into skill 2 into skill 3 with the Time Weave, which is just really, really powerful and just going to give you a ton of stacks. It's absolutely mind-blowingly scary how strong this is. So that's how I would build her for PvE. I'm not going to show the entire continuous farm because, well, I'm just going to let you know that I'm going to win every single one of these now. Just because Nico has been nerfed, because, well, I think Nico was a little bit too strong. But now, it only takes about 2 minutes versus 5 minutes before, which really thankful because it was a real drag having to set a timer for 30 minutes and then press auto again on my phone and do that for what seemed to be forever. So now I only have to do that for 12 hours a day, and it's 20 minutes instead of 30. So Big difference, I guess. So that's about it with the Doki Doki build. Let me know if this guide was helpful and who you would like to see next for a guide. So trueeevil over and out.